of Yoga with Colette. Thank you so much for joining me on day 21. Yay! Right, just thanking yourself, thanking your body for making 21 days of having yoga, showing up to the mat. You know, that's a big deal. And so we're going to begin in cobbler seat, right, with our feet, the bottom of our feet touching each other. Our hands can be there to help bring them together, or you can have your hands at your ankles to really open out your hips, whichever's comfortable for you. Right, back is elongated, engaged, and just taking some breath here in through the nose, out through the mouth, nose, out through the mouth. And just sitting into this pose, and begin to do some circles, right? So just circling our body on the bottom half, keeping our bottom half down and grounded, and we just circle and waking up our spine, our hips, all of this. And then maybe doing the reverse. Just waking up, right? And so today's intention for this last day for 21 days is gratitude, showing your body gratitude, showing yourself gratitude, and showing others gratitude as well. Right, and so let's begin in tabletops. Once again, just waking up our wrist, really opening up and spreading our fingers, just rolling our wrist around, really opening up, putting weight on it. Of course, you can control how much weight you give to your fingers, to your toes, and maybe even how wide your fingers are spread. That can also intensify that stretch. Then you can begin to point your fingers towards you. Right, so maybe I'm doing only my left hand is pointing towards the inside. And then switch and do only my right. Right, and then point them towards me, going side to side. And then having my palms up, and maybe doing some fist and release, fist and release. Right, and then just shaking that up, right? Just giving gratitude and grace to our ankles, to our wrists, right? We don't really show our wrist so much love, and so if you were with me for these 21 days, you know, I really like to just wake my wrist up. Also because I really like hip wrist openers. Also because I really like inversions. Handstand and headstand, all those type of things where I kind of have to balance on my wrist. Right, so once again, I'm here in this tabletop, right, making sure that my wrists are underneath my shoulders are engaged, stacked, and then my knees are hip width apart, also stacked, and just really just holding this pose in this tabletop. And I'm actually going to tuck my toes and just lift and hover here for 3. Breathing into the nose, 2. And when I'm going to drop it back down, and I'm going to lift up that right leg and just really kick it out as I'm kicking that back wall, really holding that there. And I'm going to lift up this left hand and just balance again, really squeezing into my core, making sure that it's a straight line between my foot and my head and neck as much as possible. Holding this for 3, 2, 1, and release. Doing the same thing on the other side, right? Really waking up my body, using all parts of my body into a sequence, hopefully. Kicking out that left leg, lifting up, really engaging my bottom left fingers down to help stabilize me. Kicking and looking for 3, 2, 1, and down. Woo. Right, already feeling that. Full body, right? So I'm going to go back to hovering and then lifting my butt up and back into my maybe first downward dog, pedaling that out if I want to really open up my dog. Bending my knees, lifting, and then going back on my knees. I'm going to make my way into a needle pose, right? So I'm going to lift up this right arm, really open up my chest to the right side of the room, and then sipping it, needling it through, threading it through, really opening up my shoulder, my right shoulder, maybe even placing my left hand down, and I open this right shoulder, deepening that for 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back, and then once again opening back up to do the counter pose, and then placing that right arm down. Doing the same thing for my left, lifting up my left shoulder, opening up, and just threading my left shoulder through, holding this for 3, 2, and 1. Opening that back up, down, and then lifting up and back into my downward dog again, pedaling that out. In here in this downward dog, I'm going to take my left hand. Right, so first let me just center my So in this downward dog, I'm going to just move my right hand a little bit more to the center as I take this left hand and I'm going to touch it to my right ankle, really doing a downward dog twist. So I'm twisting and my chest and upper body is kind of facing the right. 3, 2, 1. Right, and I'm doing the same thing for the other side, taking this left and kind of centering it as I bring this right to my left. Holding it to my ankle, or maybe just placing it out for 3, 2, 1. And walking that out, and then looking forward and walking my feet to my hands here. Just maybe have my knees slightly bent as I alternate between bending and straightening it. Bringing my chest to thigh as much as possible. Really waking my body up. And knees, maybe doing opposite elbows and some ragdoll. And allow yourself to once again bring forth the attention of gratitude for sharing that. And when I place my hands right underneath my knees and my shin, and lift up into flat back or halfway lift. Back down, placing my hands on the mat, stepping back into plank pose. I realized that doing this for 21 days has really helped strengthen my plank. It just made it easier for me to lower as I shift forward, and then lower down, maybe chaturanga, down to my belly. Untucking my toes. Placing my hands by my side and lifting my chest through my hands in cobra pose for 3, 2, 1, and down. I noticed that when I lift up a cobra pose, right, so let's lift up, really bringing my shoulders down, sending my neck back, I really feel that stretch deeper in my back, and then release. Tucking my toes and lifting up and back into downward dog. In downward dog, we're going to lift up that right leg and really just do some knee circles. So bringing the knee to my nose and then back up into a 3-legged dog. And then beginning to circle it, right, warming it up, circling the knee around, up and back. And then stepping that right foot in between your hands, bringing that left foot down into a low lunge, right? So really deepening it here. So if you want to release that tension, you can of course put it this way. So this is 90, this is 90. Personally, I like to really deepen, open up my hips. And so I really sit in it, making sure my hips are still squared. And I'm holding this, putting my hands here, or I put my hands on my knees, sitting up in this pose for 3, 2, 1, and then maybe just adjust a little bit more and walk my hands back as I go into a half split here. Right, so the front of my leg is straightened, and then my toes are actually trying to flex and bend past my ankle, and bringing my face to my toes, chest to thigh for 3, 2, and 1, and then walking back into that low lunge. And in this low lunge, I'm going to sit back in it and then try to lift up my back foot, really getting that stretch, right? knowing that when I lift up my back foot, I also know my hips are aligned and straightened, and holding this for 3, 2, 1, and release. Right, so bringing that foot back into maybe tabletop, and then tucking my toes up and back into downward dog and walking that out. Same for the left, so 3-legged dog. Knee to nose, and then doing some circles. Really just opening up those hips and then stepping them in between my feet, my hands, right? Deepening that low lunge here. Really shifting my hips back, so I'm really stacking it, having my hand on my knee and holding this for 3, 2, and 1. Placing my hands down, walking them back, forward fold, knee to nose, and also flexing my toes, right? This is something new that I've learned that really helps to open up my hamstring. Holding this for 3, 2, 1, and then walking back up. And then maybe bringing up that back foot as I hold it for 3, 2, and 1, and release. Stepping that back, and then lifting up and back into downward dog. I'm just waking myself up, waking up my legs and hips. Right, and so I'm gonna do it again, lifting up that 3-legged dog, and I'm stepping this foot on the outside of my right hand as I get to lizard. Once again, bringing back that left knee down, and really holding and deepening this, right? And I'm going to actually walk my hands out until my forearms can touch the ground. I'm sitting in this lizard pose for 3, 2, and 1. Right, maybe trying to really open it up and close it and open it just to really wake that up and to be a little bit more active in this pose with my brain. And then stepping that back into tabletop, lifting up and back into downward dog. Same thing for the other side. Lizard pose. Stepping it out. Bringing my forearms down. Maybe both forearms can't. Maybe they can. Holding this for 3,